iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get a podcast out tomorrow. So this may be my last podcast. I'm still hoping to go to Vegas, but as you all know, I live in Southwest Florida, and Hurricane Irma is on her way here, Category 5, one of the worst winds in history. So hoping to get to Vegas and hoping that the family stays safe. So that's more important. Family first, fantasy football second, even though fantasy football is a very close second. But I wanted to give you some early plays of the week that I think are very interesting and you guys should take a look at. I'll also write an article up for tomorrow on Scout Fantasy, and you can take a look. But I'll go through each position with you. First of all, I think that Green Bay-Seattle game is going to be very high scoring. I think Aaron Rodgers and I think Russell Wilson are terrific plays, both in seasonal and DFS. So, a lot of people will look to that game. But remember, Seattle does not play as well on the road. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. Green Bay's secondary was atrocious last year. Seattle doesn't know who their running back is, so that may mean they have to throw the ball more. I'm just throwing it out there. I really think that's a high-scoring game. I think the Tennessee-Oakland game is going to be very high-scoring too. Tennessee is a much-improved team. I will say that. They are a much-improved team, but they have a weakness. Their weakness is in their secondary. I mean, tell me who's going to cover Amari Cooper? Logan Ryan? Adoree Jackson? He's not going to look so adorable this weekend. I think it's going to be a big problem. I like Derek Carr this weekend, and I love Mariota. So, we'll talk about this. I'll talk about this in seasonal and daily. Let's assume you think that Derek Carr is going to have a big week. Okay, let's assume that. And I think that's a fair assumption this week. If you do, it would go to reason, then the opposing team's quarterback would have a big week too, right? It's not like the Raiders are going to win 41-3. If anything, they're going to win, 31-24. And if that's the case, then both Carr and Mariota will have good games. I like both those guys to have big weeks. I think a sneaky play is Kirk Cousins. Now, Philadelphia has a pretty darn good pass rush. I believe that. I think they have a very good pass rush. But their secondary is atrocious. I mean, who's going to cover Jordan Reed? Who's going to cover Terrell Pryor? Who's going to cover Jamison Crowder? I don't see it. I'm trying to look for it, but I just don't see it. So I think that he's another guy who could have a very good week. I think Kirk Cousins could have a good week. I think Ben Roethlisberger, this is a guy who's going to win somebody some money this week. Because remember, don't play Ben Roethlisberger on the road. He stinks, right? He's terrible. He's only good at Heinz Field. But now he has Martavis Bryant. They added Vance McDonald, right? Vance McDonald's a pretty good player too. Eli Rogers is healthy. And there's a guy. What's his name? Oh, that's right, Le'Veon Bell. I've heard of him. I think he's pretty good. Oh yeah, he's back. I think Ben Roethlisberger is a good play this week. So I'm taking a look at the guys like Rodgers and Mariota and Wilson and Roethlisberger and Cousins. I think those are all good plays this week. I gave a couple of under-the-radar plays on Scout Fantasy, so check out my article today. And if you're not a member of Scout Fantasy, go to scoutfantasy.com, enter the promo code ROTO 2017 for half off your first month. I drop some knowledge on you on two guys who I think are underrated this week, who will have very good weeks. Nobody's talking about these guys, but I'm talking about these guys, and you heard them first here. Dr. Roto. Guys I like. All right, at running back this week. I mean, obviously, we like Le'Veon Bell. I'm a little cautious with David Johnson, not in terms of that he's not great. And then if I have him in my number one pick, I'm playing him. But Detroit's run defense has always been pretty good. They don't let up a lot of rushing touchdowns. David Johnson should beat them in the air. He might have 6-8 receptions. I think the guy I'm watching out for this week is LaShawn McCoy, for sure. Be very careful with the Miami-Tampa Bay game. I believe that game is going to get canceled. I truly do. I think that game is going to get canceled, and they're going to push that game to Week 11. That's my gut, because with Irma coming, there's no doubt there's going to be rains here, and I think the NFL needs to be safe here. They can't make this decision on Saturday when Irma's coming on Sunday. I think that decision gets made over the next couple of days. It would not shock me at all. So I want you to do the following. I want you to prepare. For Miami and Tampa Bay to be postponed until week 11. They both have their bye weeks week 11, but not any longer. They're going to have their bye weeks week 1. Okay? So there's just nothing we can do about that. Irma's a Category 5 hurricane. Okay? 1 is bad, 2 is worse, 3, but 5 is like insane. That's like ordering the nuclear wings. You know when you get hot wings? This is like ordering the nuclear wings, a Category 5. So be very careful with that. I'm down on Melvin Gordon this week. I'm very into Todd Gurley this week. I think Todd Gurley against the Colts. Really? The Colts? The Colts are reeling here, and Scott Tolzien. So I want you to think about this comment about Scott Tolzien. Tolzien stinks. All right, let's get that clear. He stinks. How many 3-and-outs is that offense going to have this week? I would think at least half this series could end in 3-and-out. If that's the case, the Colt defense is going to be on the field way more than they want to be. So here we are. It's the middle of the third quarter. We're in LA. It's kind of hot out there. And now the Colts defense has been out there pretty much all game. I think that leaves them susceptible for some Todd Gurley running. Just throwing that out there. I like a little Todd Gurley action this week. I like Dalvin Cook this week. I think he's a really good play. And of course, I would have told you Jacquizz Rodgers, but I am worried about that game, and I am worried about that it's going to play, so be careful with him. I also like Bilal Powell. There's something that we can't teach, and what it's called is garbage time. The Jets are going to stink. They are going to be one of the worst teams in the history of the NFL. And the worst part is, the Cleveland Browns stunk last year, but at least you could say they were trying and they didn't give up on Hugh Jackson. Right now with the Jets, I don't think they're going to even try. They just want the first pick overall, get a new quarterback, and start this from scratch. But garbage time will give garbage points. And I think Bilal Powell is the kind of guy who can get some good garbage time points in the game against Buffalo. I think Buffalo's disinterested as well. This is a team that's completely disinterested. Jordan Matthews, still injured. Sammy Watkins, in LA. LaShawn McCoy, pissed off. Zay Jones, a rookie. You think Buffalo's really going in full force? I don't know about that. So I think that Bilal Powell could have a decent week. You'll also hear me talk about the narratives. I always love a good narrative play. And this week, the only narrative play that comes to mind, and there may be more, it's just not coming to me right now. Christian McCaffrey. Where's he from? California. Where did he play in school? Stanford. Where are they playing this week? At the 49ers. Call me crazy. I think he has a good game. I do. I think he has a very good game. I'm all in on Christian McCaffrey this week. At wide receivers, there's a lot to choose from. Every week there's a lot to choose from. I had mentioned guys I liked before. Amari Cooper. Logan Ryan can't cover him. There's no way. I love Dougie B, Doug Baldwin. I love Stephon Diggs. I think he's a good play. Martavis Bryant is a good play. Julio Jones Roto against Chicago. That is a gift right there. I think Atlanta may be up by about 30 by the third quarter. The only problem I have in that game is they may take him out of the game because they're up by so many. So those are some names. I like Terrell Pryor. I think that's sneaky. I think Sammy Watkins Roto. How about him? Nobody's talking about Sammy Watkins. He can make a play. I think he's interesting. I think A.J. Green always plays well at home. And Baltimore, I'll use the same argument for the Baltimore Ravens that I used for the Colts. Joe Flacco has been injured all preseason. He has not played at all with Jeremy Maclin and Danny Woodhead. Because that's the case, I don't think that they're going to be so in sync. If they're not in sync, what it's going to do is there's going to be a lot of 3-and-outs. A lot of 3-and-outs mean that the Ravens defense plays more than they need to, and then by the third quarter of week 1, you're not ready yet. You're not ready. You're not in game shape yet. Guys haven't played. They get in game shape by week 4, week 5. Week 1, you still haven't played that much from preseason. Now, you're running on adrenaline. I get that. I get the adrenaline. But I think at the same time, you're not playing full force. So I think that A.J. Green has a very big week this week. I like him in seasonal. Obviously, he's a first-round pick. I like him in daily. These are just guys that I think have very big weeks. And if you play in those salary cap leagues, guys you need for week 1, I think A.J. Green is always a good choice. Once again, be careful with Mike Evans. Be careful with Devontae Parker. I just don't know if they play. Here's what I would do. I would bench the Dolphins and Buck guys now. And then you could always activate them on Sunday if they play. But I would just do it now so you don't forget. Right? One of my friends once said that. He goes, he always puts his teams in on Tuesday because that way he makes sure he has them in there. Right? This way he doesn't all of a sudden have a brain fart and all of a sudden he never has his teams in. That would be bad. Tight end, right? The names that we're familiar with, obviously Kyle Rudolph. I like Delaney Walker. I like Jimmy Graham this week. Zach Ertz. How about Zach Ertz? Can he just for one time be consistent? I just want to see Zach Ertz be consistent. He was so good at the end of last year. But then if you looked at his numbers in the beginning of last year, he was just very average. I mean, I know we've talked about that before, but I want to talk about that again because I don't think people realize the numbers. So Zach Ertz last season, right? From week 13 on, 9 for 79 and a touchdown, 10 for 112, 6 for 80, 2 for 33, that was a stinker, 13 for 139 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's awesome numbers. The beginning part of the season, 6 for 58, 3 for 37, 1 for 22, 1 for 14. Not good enough, right? That's the bad Zach Ertz. I need the good Zach Ertz. If I can get the good Zach Ertz this week against Washington, he could have a big day. Now, everybody's talking up Coby Fleener. Well, without Willie Snead there, I think Coby Fleener has a big week. Does he? How big is it going to be? At Minnesota? I don't know about that. I think the Vikings are going to cover him pretty well. So I think that's going to be a sucker move. A lot of people are going to play Fleener. I'm not buying into Fleener. I like Martellus Bennett this week. I think he should have a good week. Right? I'm all in on him. And I'm all in on Chuck Clay. Charles Clay. Now let me paint you this picture. I painted it before. I'll paint it again. Jordan Matthews injured. LaShawn McCoy going to see 8-man fronts. Zay Jones is a rookie. Sammy Watkins in LA. Who are they going to throw the ball to? Charles Clay may get 5 or 6 receptions this week out of desperation because they have nobody else to go to. So I need you guys to think this way. Now, when we do our rankings for each week, I will get better as the season goes on. Okay? I say that, and I'm being quite honest with you. My rankings week 1 will not be as good as they are week 10. By week 10, I will see who can't stop the run, who can't stop the pass, who can't stop the tight end, who's bad against a slot receiver. These are things I will notice. Week 1, everybody goes in, and everybody could have a good year. Who knows, right? It's much harder to determine that week 1. So I always say this. If you're playing DFS, go light week 1. Be careful. Be careful week 1. I just don't think this is the week I'm putting the kids' college tuition on the line. It's not the week I'm doing that. Week 11, I might pony up more because I know exactly what to expect. See, the key is, I always say this to you guys, predictability. If I can predict it, I can pick it. And if I can pick it, I can win it. Right? But week 1, is George Kittle going to play? How many times will the 49ers go to Marquise Goodwin? How good does Carlos Hyde look? Is Pierre Garçon going to be the target monster I think he is? I don't know these things yet. I'll know them a lot more in week 3 and week 4 than I do in week 1. So I need to be careful in week 1. If you're playing DFS, don't go in all in, please. Just save some money. I'd go in about 60% this week. If you normally play $500 a weekend, play $200. Okay, maybe 3. Go easy. Let's do some recon. Let's be smart. Let's understand what's happening with each team's offense. Let's see the play calling. Right? What does the quarterback like to do in this situation? Is Christian McCaffrey getting 12 carries a game or 19? Is Kareem Hunt sitting down every third series for Charkandrick West or not? Do you know these answers? Because I don't. I think I know these answers, but I don't yet. The more the season unfolds, the more I know. And the more I know, the sharper I am. And the sharper I am, the more I win. And the more you win. So I just always say the first 2 or 3 weeks, give it time. And I want to preach patience as well. On your seasonal leagues, don't cut a guy because he had a bad week 1. Maybe it was a bad game. Maybe he was injured. Maybe he was tired. Who knows? Maybe they want to save him for week 2 or week 3. Can't answer these questions. I just don't want you to go all in on these players in week 1 or panic. Oh my God, this guy stinks. I got to cut him. Don't cut him. Don't cut him. Just be patient. I will preach patience all year long. If you did a good enough job drafting, then you can be patient. If you didn't, well, that's another issue. If your team stinks after your draft, well, then maybe you need to make moves. But I know that when I drafted correctly, and I drafted the guys I wanted, and if they don't perform, I need to be patient. And if I am patient, I will win. All right, speaking of winning, you've got until Saturday night to get into one of our leagues. Go to playffwc.com right now. Get into one of our leagues. Be part of what we're doing. It's the best fantasy football experience out there. If you haven't tried it, I beg you, give it a try. See if you like it. I think you will. I think once you go to a high-stakes format, you'll never want to go back. You'll want to play 3 and 4 and 5 leagues because they're addictive, right? The Hooters Home League, yeah, they're your buddies, but, in round 8, you're still drafting Martavis Bryant. In high stakes, the dude's gone in round 3 or 4. You want to prove you're the best? You got to beat the best. And the best players are playing at playffwc.com. We'll also give you the highest payouts. We'll give you the highest payouts. And we'll give you great customer service and an easy-to-use drafting experience. That's our guarantee. Okay? Also, I want you to go to scoutfantasy.com, enter the promo code ROTO, that's ROTO 2017. ROTO 2017. If you enter ROTO 2017, you will get half off your first month. And then, hopefully when you're there, you'll get all the information that you need. You'll get a podcast like this. You'll get my articles. You get Ronus's articles. You get Sean Child's articles. You will be in the message boards. You will have an opportunity to compete with to win your league because you're getting the information from guys who are proven winners. We are proven high-stakes winners. All right, guys. Time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Back soon with more podcasts, but I'm out in Vegas for the next couple days. Hopefully I'll have power when I come back, but I will be around. Try me on those premium message boards if you can't reach me. Leave me an email on those message boards. I will get back to you. All right, wishing you guys a great day. Be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!